Economic analysts believe there could be a steady growth in the real estate sector as the housing market seems to be showing signs of stabilization. Well, although this projection for the next decade shows positive signs, looking for a house or apartment in Lagos is still a very difficult task for low and middle income earners. Ayeku reports.
Lagos, the commercial nerve center of Nigeria, is sometimes likened to the New York City in the United States for more than one reason. One of these reasons is that it's difficult to get a house that fits your taste and also goes with your budget. According to a study in 2016, out of the estimated 21 million people living in Lagos, with the youth constituting about 10 million of the number, the quest of finding a decent place to live is a problem lots of them and even the middle-class income earners face. One of those on the quest for an affordable and decent apartment for months is Blessing, a human resource personnel who works on the mainland. Our inability to get a house close to a workplace leaves her with no choice but the story building in Alagbole, a town on the outskirts of Lagos.
Actually, what I did was to talk to my friends. I've never done this before, it's my first time. So I talked to a friend and said, I'm looking for an apartment and this is my budget. You know, my budget was 350,000 and they told me that what I could get was a 2-room self-contained. I don't think I can remember the number of houses I had to visit and I never liked any of them.
On mainland? On
the mainland. I didn't like any of them. I know that based on my budget, you know, if I had a lot of money to work with, it would have been a different thing.
Probably the monthly payment of rent would have been able to help her get an apartment closer to work. But the huge cost of paying for a 1 or 2 year rent all at once, coupled with extra charges like agency fee, agreement fee, and what is generally referred to as caution fee, makes that prospect impossible.
It's even a great idea now that at least house owners even accept 1 year rent. You know, from people before, it used to be worse than that. You know, they accept a year's rent, and even on a year's rent, you still have to pay 20% of, you know, of the rentage. Although I heard that they take 10% if you are paying 2 years. So, but I wasn't ready to pay 2 years, not because, like I said, my budget was limited.
So why is finding a home a daunting task in Lagos?
We are yet to fully appreciate the gravity of the problem. It's a really big problem, and I don't think we're treating it as such. The deficit of 17 million is a figure that has been carried around for something around 10, 12 years. There are a number of things. Number one is that we don't have a framework. We don't have a strong enough framework to tie together all the aspects that are required to create a vibrant housing market.
Co-living is now a growing trend in city centers, but can the real estate sector, which is the 5th largest contributor to the nation's GDP, solve the housing deficit?
Technology would be the major driving force. I think that if we have opportunity to influence how technology is applied to real estate, it will help to drive the engine of growth in the next decade. So we should try and influence our young ones, schools, to make sure that technology becomes the backbone of our education system.
We have to get creative in the sense that let's not just depend on government to do everything, and we can see that there are a lot of private developers that, you know, they're springing estates. You know, if you go along the Lekki corridor, you see so many estates coming up. But it's not just about building. What are we doing about infrastructure? You know, if it takes me 30 minutes on a train or maybe on a fast bus from Ekpe to Victoria Island, and, you know, I find a property in Ekpe is cheaper, a lot of people will move to the outskirts.
Blessing is one of the many persons settling for convenience and not luxury.